All right, guys, welcome back to Behind Closed Doors. Today is September 9th.
Yes, sir.
We're back here on Behind Closed Doors. I'm your boy, Pete. That's on it. As always, let's get things cracking as we open up with our Costas. First things first, before we get into all the topics, for all the information you need to know, we're always kind of messing with our format, so we'll get to that in a second. But let's quickly talk about San Francisco right now. We first had the news come out about this baby gender reveal starting this massive fire, and now it is Wednesday, and SF looks like Mars. What's going on there? Has this happened before?
It's kind of becoming an annual tradition. There's fires every summer.
Yep.
In SF, but this is the worst I've seen the city look. So SF has already become unlivable, in my opinion. You have unlimited homeless people everywhere, drugs everywhere, people naked everywhere, people taking shits everywhere. It's not safe to walk around downtown San Francisco.
Yep.
And now it looks like Mars. So the irony is there's been more money created in San Francisco than any city, maybe in the history of the world in this time period.
Yeah.
And it literally has been destroyed. So not only is it getting destroyed by its own people, it's getting destroyed by natural disasters. It's getting destroyed by, God.
Do they come out of this? We're talking about New York coming out of it. And absolutely, New York's going to recover. But is San Francisco recover?
I don't think San Francisco is going to recover.
It's not a long-standing.
It's going to take another cycle, right? So it's going to have to bottom out in the next 5 years.
Yep.
New York's going to be back. They're already talking about indoor dining back in New York. 25% indoors allowed as of September 30th.
Okay, and let's not also hide the fact that New York has such a long-standing history of just everything from iconic people to iconic places to being, the touristic capital of the world here in the world and definitely in the U.S. It's like there's so much there that it was like San Francisco was just a boom. It just happened in the last, what would you say, 10, 15 years?
Yeah, San Francisco in the 90s, early 90s, before technology,
right?
No one gave a shit about it. It literally was because of the wealth they created, and they had this kind of hippie culture that was completely eliminated by all the money that came in. So the culture's gone. Even the people with money are leaving, and you just have homeless people that aren't being taken care of properly. And there's a massive drug addiction problem among the homeless people. I have friends that walk to work knowing that they're going to see a couple syringes, a guy taking a shit, and a guy jerking off. That's like walk to work.
Disgusting.
Yeah,
and that's the worst. So before you start talking shit on New York, let's really pull back to the very obvious one, which is San Francisco, which is literally going to be down the drain if it's not already.
Yep.
Okay, let's move into all things for Behind Closed Doors. Now, as we talked in the past, we've kind of moved through topics quickly, trying to get you all the information so I've come up with this new idea. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk more on the stock market, some more on football, fantasy football coming up with the season starting officially tomorrow. And then as always, moving into everything in our personal lives that we love to talk about and Twitter. So let's get started right away. The first thing being that today is the eve of the start of the NFL season. You have a fantasy football draft, you said, in about 3 hours. I had one last night. Let's run through some highlights of those, what your initial thoughts are. And then with the season right around the corner, that's a lot of excitement building up.
Yeah, so we chose to keep our draft as close to the start of the season as possible. We do that every year because you never know injuries during preseason. But you didn't even know who's going to show up. People were pulling out as of even last week.
Yeah.
So we're just like, let's just wait till the last day possible because whoever shows up probably will play the whole season.
Right.
I had one draft with D, Brian, Mikey, Terj, and all those guys on Sunday night. That was always some good laughs.
Who do you think came out on top there?
That one's it's the first year of a keeper league, so it's all kind of brand new. So I think everyone has a shot. But this new draft, we have keeper league that we've been playing for over almost a decade, I think. And
so you guys do like the franchise type of thing?
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm keeping Derrick Henry, Chris Carson, and Miles Sanders. Those are my three keepers. So my running backs are set. Now I got to go big on receivers.
Who are you coming right off the block with?
I want Michael Thomas.
Yeah. I mean, who does it?
I'm going to break the bank for Michael Thomas. We do auction style. So
Okay, how much are you willing to spend? What's your cap too?
So it's a $200 auction draft. I've already, and with my keepers, spent I think about $50. So I have $150 to fill out my roster. I think I'd go up to 65 for Michael Thomas.
Wow, that's a lot of money just to throw after one guy.
Get Michael Thomas. I've already got incredible running backs. Keep it moving.
I mean, and the incredible bond he's going to have with Drew Brees after that.
Exactly.
He's gonna have to give him the ball. He's gonna be like, I stuck up for you. You better pass it to me.
Where are you gonna watch home opener, or not the home opener, the NFL opener?
Tomorrow. Well, if I get off work, what time's it gonna start? Probably around
5:20.
5:20. I will probably likely still be at work. But if anything, I'll go to the Costa Brava guy's house.
Nice.
And watch from there. That's who I'm in my league with, which is very interesting. We drafted last night. A lot of highs, a lot of lows, a lot of guys that don't know what they're doing, and some guys that do. It was very interesting.
What was the worst pick you saw early on?
Boy, that's a hard one. I think somebody drafted like a defense in like the 3rd or 4th round.
That's insane.
That's insane. We were like,
he's in another league, a snake draft with a bunch of his friends, and he took Mahomes 3rd overall.
Wow,
that was a bold pick.
It's one way to go about it. Some people are ballsier than others. I don't know. Everybody always has their idea or their strategy per se that they think is the best.
Yep.
Doesn't always work out. Who's playing tomorrow night? I have to think.
Chiefs Texans.
Chiefs Texans. Who do you have?
Chiefs. They're favored by like 9 points.
Yeah. I do have 2 Texans though, so we'll see.
Who'd you take?
I have Deshaun and DeAndre got traded.
So he's not from the Cardinals.
Yeah. So I have Deshaun. Yeah, money. That should be interesting to see how Kyle Murray can perform this year.
I think Kyler's going to ball.
What's going to happen? We haven't really heard a whole lot on college football. I've seen them starting to advertise games. What's really happening with that? Do you have any idea?
I think the SEC is playing. It's just a hodgepodge. You have a handful of schools playing. There's already been a couple games.
Yep.
So a couple of these smaller conferences have already played, and I think the West Coast isn't playing. Like I don't think USC, UCLA, any of them are playing. So it'll be, yeah.
Do you think we make it through a whole season? Do we make it through a whole season of college football, whatever that be? And
everything's happening. Whoever's starting is finishing.
Right. I believe so. Same thing. It seems like there's a lot standing in the way of
how many of the NBA guys got it between March and May and no hospitalizations.
Yep.
They were all fine.
Right. So not a whole lot to worry there. A lot of healthy people. As long as things are being contained and controlled, I don't see how the season's going to end. So we'll be coming with more and more stuff every single week, us talking about that. So stay tuned for that. If you have your picks or anything we want to talk about, make sure you always catch us here live on Twitch. We're here Wednesdays, going live every Wednesday. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure you follow us on Twitter. That'll be the most live updates we give for when we do go live. But let's move right into the stock market as well. Interesting things there. It has dipped for the last 3 days. I've now lost close to almost $100 on my DocuSign. But it's back up today. So after a 3-day dip, we're now seeing some rise in that. What's happening there? What kind of insight can you give us?
Yeah, so I think the last 3 days was just like a bunch of people profit taking. So many funds have probably made so much money in the last 3 to 6 months, depending on when they got in. So it's natural. The market popped again today.
Yeah.
There's nothing that points to. I think we'll float around these levels for a while. I don't see it skyrocketing from here, but the only risk is if it ever starts to actually correct, because this wasn't really even a correction because it was coming from off all-time highs.
Yeah.
It's not like it was correcting from, regular levels. So it's something that I just don't I think it's a wait and see. And you have all these stories about the vaccine, who to believe, what pharmacy companies actually can come out with it, which trials are going to continue. There's still a lot to figure out. So, and the election's really the big one.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a wild time in these next couple months, especially with the election coming up and the stock market to follow. How do you think everything plays out with Do you think it matters who wins for the stock market to really have a big jump either way?
I've said this on the podcast. If the Democrats sweep the Senate, the House, and the presidency, the stock market would take a beating because everyone will fear higher taxes. Everyone will forget which side you're on. I think it's just a fact. They're going to fear higher taxes. They're going to fear just going after private equity firms, going after hedge funds for more taxes, regulating companies, which all the things the stock market doesn't like. But in all reality, it's just not going to be a sweep. I think it'll be pretty much split. And obviously the presidency, I think what really can happen is, we talked about this yesterday on the pod, you're going to have a contested election. I think we're almost certain about that. It's going to be so close leading up to it. Trump's going to declare victory before all the votes are counted and then throw it to the courts.
Yeah. Are you going to bet against either way? Are you going to leverage the election to your favor?
No, I think I already missed out on the big run up with the stock market. Trying to time it now doesn't seem like something smart to do.
Right. It's difficult. We coming into very weird times.
Yes.
Quick question from our Twitch crowd. Any thoughts on options? Options is something that we talk about a lot. I had no idea what options were before you guys had initially
I don't
explained
think
them.
anyone should be trading options unless you're an expert.
Right.
Because it's zero sum. Like, you'll lose all of your money. Like,
Right.
if you put $100 in Apple and it's down 20%, you lost $20. You put $100 in options and the stock goes the other way, you lose $100.
Right.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, people don't understand. It's funny. I'm starting to see more and more because I've stopped on them on TikTok where they'll be like poke fun at Robinhood traders and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's like people being like, "Oh, I want to put $100 on an option here." The guy's like, "Do you know what an option means?" He's like, "No, I don't care." And he's like, "You're gonna lose so much money."
Yeah, I would stay away from options unless you're an expert and you're gonna watch it the entire day. You can't miss a minute because you can lose all your money.
I think that's the biggest thing that no Robinhood trader has really understood at the most basic level is that this stuff is to be watched all day. You can't, unless you're in the blue chip stocks. Other than that, you don't really need to watch it. But if you're bought into any company, you need to be watching it constantly, whether it's options or just straight up stock buying. It fluctuates so much. It's the whole point of day trading and or what Robinhood has gamified it to be.
Yep. I hear you.
Stay on top of your things before they get out of control. Lastly, let's move into our Twitter segment of the show. We're always very active on Twitter, so this is always a fun one to go into. And I'm just going to pull out right away. We had talked about it before this. It's a hot topic trending right now. The big thing on Trump came out today. Hashtag he knew about the deadliness of coronavirus. Some tapes apparently leaked this morning. Give me your hot take on that. What's your initial opinion when you saw that trending? And did you see the clips this morning?
Yeah, I saw it all. And my only takeaway is none of the quotes are surprising.
No.
You expect all of this from Trump.
Didn't we know he knew this? What
the surprising thing is who he sat down with. He sat down with Bob Woodward and gave him so many interviews. For people who want to know who Bob Woodward is, Bob Woodward broke the Watergate story in the 60s or 70s where he took down Nixon. He took down a president over 50 years ago. Why would you sit down with him? This guy's way smarter than you. His job is to basically be critical of you. His job is to catch you.
Right.
Like, how are you this stupid? So then now it just broke on Twitter that Bob Woodward, Trump wanted the attention, and all his aides were like, do not sit with Bob Woodward. You're going to get got. Like, this is what this guy's job is. And he's been doing it for decades.
Right.
Don't sit with him. And apparently, Jared Kushner convinced the Donald, you should go do that. So there's a couple different aspects to the story. One, people are furious with Bob Woodward because he had all these quotes back in February, and 200,000 people are now dead, and the economy's cratered. So if he had shared this in February when he had on-the-record tapes, you could have saved a lot of lives. Instead, he held all the information for a book that's releasing September 15th. It's almost like he knew the fire was happening. Let me wait for the fire to fucking explode and then my book's more interesting, which it is, and now everyone's going to buy it. It's going to be an automatic bestseller.
Right.
It's disappointing in the sense because Bob Woodward is a legendary journalist, and when you know this information is this critical to the health of American lives, like take the businessman hat off and actually be like, hey, I can.
So selfish.
Yes.
Incredibly selfish.
I think people are very upset about this, but it's good the information's coming out. But unfortunately, this is everyone who has any information within the Trump administration. They wait till they can capitalize on it personally with books and speaking gigs. No one actually cares about the American public.
Literally, nobody.
No one.
No one. And it's never been more evident than this, which is scary. Yeah. Do you think this pushes anybody else forward to talk? Or is everybody going to just hold their cards out of their chest?
I think it's going to force a handful of folks, because he has names in the book of like people saying, we were in the room. We know what he said. I just don't get how dumb is Donald Trump to admit to all this shit.
I generally think he's a really stupid guy.
On the record. He's like, hey, I'm recording.
Yes.
I'm going to have voice recordings of you saying, I know it's way worse than I'm saying.
But then he tried to defend himself and he's like, I always wanted to play it down. I wanted to play it down. I
didn't want panic. I didn't want panic.
Yeah. So he's trying to even then when he's telling him this straight up, he's trying to reason with it, and he probably still in his head is justifying it.
If we didn't think Donald Trump was going to throw Kushner on the bus before, now that Kushner convinced
he's throwing his ass.
He might just have the fucking just bury him as soon as he leaves the White House.
Right. So a very entertaining time coming soon. I can't wait for it. The greatest entertainment we might ever have coming from a presidency. That's the craziest part. This is turned into a reality TV show that's happening from the leader of our country.
Yep, totally.
So a lot of very fun and interesting things coming up. All right, let's cap it off with, so your Friday, your birthday is happening Friday. So early happy birthday to you. How old are you turning?
I am turning 37. I'm old as fuck.
Wow, you are old as fuck. But on the funny side of this was the other day, my mom was talking to me, and she has to go into surgery on Friday. But before she told me it was on Friday, she's like, "Oh, I have to go to surgery." And I asked her, I said, "Oh, what day are you going in?" And she goes, "Oh, on Anand's birthday." And I go, "I don't even know when that is. When is that?" She goes, "Oh, on Friday." I go, "It's Anand's birthday on Friday?"
How so even she knew. Friends?
I really don't know. I honestly don't know. But she just like knows this stuff.
Well, she listens to the podcast, so
right. She's very active across everything we do. Like she watches this stuff.
We talk about 9/11. We've talked about 9/11. How like we've told stories about this. How when 9/11 actually happened, it was my 18th birthday. I was at USC.
Oh, okay, right. So that's
and you probably heard that. And I will say, no one forgets my birthday because of that. It's not the good reason for people to remember my birthday, but
right.
Year after year, this is pre-Facebook, so pre-2004. I remember in 2002, I had never gotten more birthday wishes in my life because everyone's like 9/11, boom, like it happened. Now everyone can cheat because of Facebook and Instagram. Everyone knows when everyone's birthday is.
I think that's one thing Facebook has ruined is the authenticity of somebody wishing you a happy birthday.
It does not matter anymore.
No, I actually don't. I go out of my way to not say happy birthday to people on Facebook anymore. I'm not active on Facebook.
Yeah.
To by any means. But like I'll look at it and I'll just like sift through, and obviously one person that I'm still like somewhat in contact with and want to wish them happy birthday, I simply just text them. The idea that even on my birthday I get people wishing me on my like Facebook wall, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You've not understood it by now.
Yeah, no, totally.
What are you doing for your birthday?
You're on Twitch. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're throwing out all the happy birthdays. They want to know what's happening Friday. What are we doing? We going to the club? Sounds like we're Poppy. We outside party.
I think we're having a quiet 4-person lunch with me, Amanda, Dee, and Haley in an outdoor patio.
Wow.
Some margaritas may be involved.
Oh. On your outdoor patio or in theirs?
Could be a venue.
Oh, what? Do we want to disclose locations?
We do not.
Okay. Maybe I'll leak them. Maybe I'll find out where you are. Leak them to the public.
Well, we're going to do a joint birthday lunch because we didn't get to celebrate Dee's. So now that Niles is here, we can all kind of get out and relax a little bit.
You've seen Miles, right? How is he?
Miles is great. He's It's crazy how small newborns are, even though I have my own kid.
Tiny.
You forget. You forget so
Because
quickly.
they grow so fast that you almost forget how tiny they are.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to do it for us. We're going to wrap it up here on Behind Closed Doors and answer a handful of questions from our Twitch crowd that's been with us this whole time. Remember, you can watch us live over here on Twitch every Wednesday. I can't give you an exact time we go live because it is very it fluctuates a lot due to our busy schedules. But if you just follow us on Twitter, we're there as well as Instagram. So those are going to be your best places for live updates. So always stay following us on those platforms. And that's going to do it for us on Behind Closed Doors. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again next Wednesday.